action. So it's same again for Rangers after last Sunday's 6-0 hammering of Hamilton in the 4th round of the Tennant Scottish Cup. It's Van Bronckhorst, Ferguson and Albertz in central midfield for Rangers, and 2 wingers, Andrei Kanchelskis and Neil McCann. Man of the moment is Jonathan Johansson with 4 goals in his last 2 games and 14 in 16 first-team starts. That's good going for a player who looked surplus to requirements last season. Trying to put the shackles on Johansson, among others, is Stephen Tweed. The former Hibs man, who had a spell in Greek football, was signed this season from Stoke. Tweed's a key player for Dundee, with central defenders Brian Irvine and Robbie Rayside both suspended. Willie Miller is still injured, so Jockey Scott has to reshuffle. Here's how they'll line up: Barry Smith and Dave Rogers alongside Tweed in defence. James Grady drops back to fill a midfield role, and his place, supporting Tommy Coyne in attack, is taken by Willie Faulkner. The referee for Rangers Dundee is Dougie Smith. Dundee start the match. A lot of talk on Tayside this week about possible merger between Dundee and Dundee United, but that will not be a prime concern of the Dundee players this afternoon. Trying to get a grip of a Rangers side which in its last 4 games all away from home has scored 17 goals, is higher on their agenda, and also coming to terms with a playing surface which has been badly affected by the weather. And the Rangers ground staff have been working on the pitch right up till kick-off. That was Tony Vidmar's header. Now Van Bronckhorst. Sergio Porrini. Kanchelskis, he's been in good form. 3 goals in his last 3 games. Strength and skill from Kanchelskis. And the advantage might well have been played there. He wasn't giving it up. And the Rangers supporter is not too charmed that Dougie Smith chose to blow his whistle after Madison tugged him back, because Kanchelskis was still on the move. In from Van Bronckhorst. And what a chance that was for Neil McCann. Scored his first Rangers goal at Hamilton last Sunday, and this should have been number 2, a free header at the far post. It bounced down, it bounced wide, and Neil McCann knows it should have been 1-0. Gavin Strachan's pass, aimed at Coyne, cut out by Amoruso. Casual with the pass though. Gavin Strachan is doing well. Now McSkimming. Tommy Coyne in the middle, Willie Faulkner getting there too. Corner kick. Good play from Strachan in setting this up, and a tempting ball in from McSkimming, chested behind by Amoruso. So the first action in front of Stefan Klos. The in-swinging corner. Almost a chance for Tweed and then Rogers. And Bronckhorst. Straight at Barry Smith. First time from Tommy Coyne and from McSkimming. Grady to Smith again. Dundee keeping possession. Adamczyk's pass finding Coyne in room. Lofted over the head though of Willie Faulkner. Vidmar's pass, George Albertz, caught by the tackle of James Grady. Adamczyk's throw chested down by Coyne from McSkimming. Willie Faulkner made a run. McSkimming took too long to deliver the pass. Now on the counter, and Bronckhorst for Kanchelskis. Johansson and Wallace are waiting. First touch though off Barry Smith, behind for a corner kick. Rangers first of the match. The Rangers defence up in the box on block. Vidmar, Amoruso, Porrini all there. Supporting Wallace and Johansson. Curling in from Van Bronckhorst. And good handling from Robert Douglas. There was plenty happening in the box around about him, so concentration had to be good. It's a lively start from Andrei Kanchelskis. Cutting inside this time, onto the left foot, blocked by Smith. Right foot this time, away from Madison. That's a good ball in, Robert Douglas palms it away, under pressure. Neil McCann had come in at the far post. Albertz. Van Bronckhorst. Here's Kanchelskis. Change of direction. He's giving Lee Madison a hard time here. And Robert Douglas called into action there after first the shot from Kanchelskis and then the little darting run and the chip to the far post, touched away by the keeper. Rogers, Strachan. Now Grady. He'll be effective on this sort of surface, James Grady. He's got good close control. It's a strong run, Tommy Coyne, back for Grady. Just too much on the return pass. And Stefan Klos gathers the cut back, but that was good play from James Grady. Very lively, good skill, which got him this far. And then the pull back gathered by Klos. Porini's header, now Van Bronckhorst. Good pass for George Albertz. Waiting for the run of Rod Wallace. Timed it well. Johansson waiting in the middle. And well dealt with by Stephen Tweed. Read that well. Because this was good build-up from Rangers. The Albertz pass, the Wallace run. Johansson the target. In from Van Bronckhorst, back from Vidmar, queuing up, Porini, a glorious scramble in the box, Neil McCann. That drops nicely for Van Bronckhorst, in again, nodded away by Tweed. Dundee survive. Rangers will try to keep the pressure on. Ferguson into the feet of Wallace, left it for Van Bronckhorst. Trying to work it onto the left foot. Good challenge by Strachan. Jimmy Bone already making progress out of the dugout to shout some instructions. Porini having a look at what's available. Flicked on by Johansson, in came Neil McCann. Good challenge made by Darius Adamchuk. That meant that there was little chance of Neil McCann converting this into a goal. Well up was Vidmar. Gavin Strachan. Darius Adamchuk back in the Polish squad for the forthcoming match against England. Good play from Rod Wallace. Wallace against Tweed. Johansson almost there. Barry Smith made the challenge. Neil McCann. Penalty kick. Lovely footwork from Neil McCann and Stephen Tweed, the offender. But this was the sort of skill Rangers knew they were buying when they paid out a couple of £1 million to Hearts. Change of direction, quick feet, and Stephen Tweed could do nothing about it but concede a penalty kick. So it's George Albertz. And it's 1-0. 24 minutes gone. Rangers have the lead. They've had plenty of pressure, they've precious few good chances. But that's the goal, which puts them ahead against Dundee. And for George Albertz, it's his 15th goal of the season. James Grady trying to get the ball under control against Neil McCann, has it now. that McCann has it. Calmly played out. There's Amaruso and Torini. Rangers playing football from their own penalty box. No signs of desperation on the ball. Barry Ferguson. Albertz, the scorer. Neil McCann. Beaten to the ball by Adamczyk, quickly on to Tommy Coyne. Adamczyk wants it back, he's onside, chance for 1-1. Adamczyk takes it. Dundee, who've barely seen the whites of the eyes of Stefan Klos, the Rangers keeper, make it 1-1 with 28 minutes gone. The Dundee supporters celebrate, the Rangers fans are stunned. It was down to the tenacity of Adamczyk against McCann. Took a return pass from Tommy Coyne. The Rangers' defence was opened up, and there's a calm finish for his 6th goal of the season. Adamczyk back in the Polish national side and doing great things for Dundee. 1-1. It's all gone quiet at Ibrox. The Rangers supporters would like to see the home team get the lead back. 7 or so minutes to do it. Ferguson, Van Bronckhorst, Vidmar, Albertz did well to skip away from Gavin Strachan onto the left foot. And the minute it was on the left foot of George Albertz, who had the funny feeling it would end up behind Robert Douglas. That's a superb goal from George Albertz. 7 minutes to go to half-time. Lovely skill to get away from Strachan. The change of direction deceived Tweed, and the shot gave Douglas not a hope. George Albertz' 2nd goal of the game, and well worth savouring again. Superb ability this, and a tremendous, unstoppable finish. Off Rodgers, corner kick. Consultations between Johansson and Torini, and a bit more defending for Dundee to do right at the tail end of this first half. In from Van Bronckhorst, off the line by Gavin Strachan. Rod Wallace. Now Neil McCann. Johansson. Manny Smith. Still not away for Dundee. Wallace underneath it. There's Torini. And forced out by McSkimming. It came off Van Bronckhorst. This was a close thing. Vidmar and Johansson both seem to get a touch off the line by Strachan. And that's the last action of the first half. The Rangers have a 2-1 lead, and a big debt of gratitude they will have to this man, the player of the first half, George Albertz. Simply superb. After Darius Adamczyk had put a spoke in the Rangers' wheels with a surprise equaliser. In terms of pressure and possession, it's been all about Rangers. Lovely skill there from Neil McCann to win a penalty. 24 minutes gone, and George Albertz fired Rangers ahead. A 1-2 between Adamczyk and Coyne, and a way was found through the Rangers' defence for the equaliser. The goal which gives Rangers a half-time lead, all about superb skill and strength and ability and finishing power from George Albertz. Rangers very much on top in the first half. At half-time they lead by 2-1. At the start of the second half, the incentive is clear for Rangers, with Kilmarnock's match off today and Celtic not playing till tomorrow. Rangers can stretch their Premier lead to 13 points. 2-1 up at the interval. Strong header from Amaruso, nodded down by Tweed for Adamczyk, and gets it back from Strachan. Long ball from Amaruso, but offside against Jonathan Johansson. The pass through the mud from Rodgers. Skimming was hurried as he made the pass. First second half touch for Albertz, and again gets the ball back from Neil McCann, always menacing as he presses forward. Ron Wallace, a curling effort which went wide. Again the set-up man George Albertz, highly impressive today. Miscue on the header from Amaruso, tries again. Skimming, deflected through for Willie Faulkner. And that was well dealt with by Tony Vidmar. Good covering. There's a chance, looked as if it was presenting itself to Willie Faulkner. A ricochet, a nice touch from Faulkner, the first one, but nipped away from him by Vidmar. Dundee working hard at closing down. A little change of direction, though, change of pace from Albertz, and he's away again. A tumble at the edge of the box for Ron Wallace. It's a free kick, right on the edge of the area. There you see the tumble, outside the area. Robert Douglas lining things up. Everyone back inside the penalty area for Dundee, apart from Tommy Coyne. Skimming, Strachan, Adamchuk and Grady, all in the wall. You might need those and more because George Albertz is stepping up, looking for the hat-trick. Took a deflection, corner kick. Vidmore, Amaruso, Perini, all in the box. Clutched by Robert Douglas, now he's lost it. Neil McCann scores. It's a blunder by Robert Douglas, which presents Rangers with their third goal. He was certainly under some pressure. It was really his own player, Lee Madison, who got in Douglas's way. Dundee won't like looking back at this. Douglas had it and lost it off the head of his own player. Neil McCann wasn't hanging about and hammered it home for his second goal for Rangers, 3-1. A two-goal cushion now for Rangers, and playing with a lot of confidence. Albertz through for Perini. Maybe took the ball the wrong direction with his first touch there. It was an excellent pass from Albertz. Possession back with Rangers again. Van Bronckhorst. Albertz, the flag is up against Rob Wallace, I think. Offside. Sergio Perini wondering about what might have been, well set up by this pass from George Albertz. Perfectly slid through. He took it inside and the chance was away. Battling for possession, McCann and Adamchuk. Neil McCann comes away with the ball. George Albertz appearing alongside him. It's in for Albertz, a chance for the hat-trick! 3 for Albertz, and a delightful set-up by Neil McCann. Superb skill, and that's 4-1. 12 minutes gone in the second half. And look at this tenacity, determination from McCann to win it first against Adamchuk. And just slipped his foot under the ball, lifted it over the head of Dave Rodgers. And George Albertz wasn't going to pass up that sort of opportunity, was he? The Albertz hat-trick. It's been a superb performance from George Albertz, because this still had to be finished, controlled on the left thigh, and side-footed into the back of the net for 4-1. Meanwhile, Rangers have made a change. Stefan Givarsh is on as sub, and Jonathan Johansson has gone off. Rod Willis back deep looking for the ball. Now he's away. First clear of Faulkner, then Smith. Now looking for support. Finds it in McCann. Here's Albertz again. George Albertz stumbled in the box. Looked up hopefully towards the referee for a penalty kick. Although he still had a chance to score. He did remarkably well to stay in touch with the ball. The Rangers supporters certainly thought there was a hint of a penalty about that, and they give George Albertz an amazing reception as he heads over to take the corner kick. Corner kick back for Kanchelskis. Away from Tweed. And what a save by Robert Douglas to deny Stefan Givars. It seemed certain to be 5. Top-class goalkeeping. The perfect chip from Kanchelskis, setting up Givars. Powerful header. And the sort of save which will catch the attention of Craig Brown. He's already featured at Scotland B level, and one of the goalkeepers in Scotland pushing for a step up. Much to admire about this Rangers performance. Kanchelskis, who's given Madison a torrid time here. And a good ball in. Neil McCann's header on target, but he had to arch his body backwards to meet the cross. And that meant the header was never going to trouble Douglas too much. Grady did well to win that header. Strong play though from Van Bronckhorst. Albertz for Wallace, and picked up well by Robert Douglas. Looked as if that might be a half chance for Rod Wallace to get his name on the score sheet, but the keeper got there first. Barry Ferguson, Rod Wallace. Andrei Kanchelskis gets it back. The back heel for Van Bronckhorst. Albertz, McCann, Rod Wallace. Offside flag is up against him. Rod Wallace looks bemused. Lovely exchange again through the midfield by Rangers. Final ball, not all it might have been though. And it's won back by Albertz. Now Neil McCann, chance for number 5. That's absolutely superb from McCann. "27 minutes gone in the second half. 2 for McCann, 3 for Albertz, 5 for Rangers. This is play which will delight Scotland manager Craig Brown. Albertz involved in the build-up, but Neil McCann in superb form here, and that is a quite sensational finish, with all the composure in the box to dummy the shot and then just chip it over Robert Douglas. 5-1, he enjoyed that. Van Bronckhorst, lovely pass for Kanchelskis, and a good challenge by Madison. Kept in. Now it's Amato. Still has it, Gabriel Amato. And Van Bronckhorst! A beauty! And that's number 6. He strikes the ball so well, Van Bronckhorst. This was delightful enough from Amato as the set-up man. Played it back for Van Bronckhorst. One touch to get the ball under control, and one to unleash a shot, which Robert Douglas barely saw, far less had much chance of stopping. For Van Bronckhorst, his 6th goal of the season, and they don't come much better than that. Gavin Strachan again, and for Dundee surely the whistle can go any time. They've suffered enough. Dougie Smith has had a couple of looks at his watch already. That's full time. And Rangers hit 6 against Dundee. So much to admire about the Rangers' performance. Not much doubt about the man of the match. George Albertz, simply superb. He hit a hat-trick. Neil McCann scored twice. That's good news for Scotland. And the final goal, arguably the pick of the bunch, the cleanest of strikes from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. Dundee swept aside, and Rangers move 13 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premier League. The home supports have enjoyed what they've seen. They must feel this is another important step towards regaining the title. At Ibrox, Rangers 6, Dundee 1.